Hey guys,
I'm Jerry.
I'm Ciara.
We're ladies.
And we tangent.
What's up, everybody?
Oh.
Do you want to do it?
Everybody. Oh, I thought we were going to do it in sync. I really tried to be with you.
You don't listen to our episodes. That's why you.
Nope. Yep.
I don't know how we start.
I was putting my own spin on it.
You can do it. Today's about you.
What's up, everybody?
Everybody.
It's not all about me, you guys.
It's about you. Ciara got engaged.
Yay!
If you guys aren't following us on
I feel like I have to keep showing it. It's
I know.
so proud.
For those of you who are just listening, she's just flashing her hand around to the room. She got engaged Sunday.
Yes.
I didn't know it was Friday today. This week has been
Oh my God,
bonkers.
it's Friday. Today was the first day I've showered since Sunday.
Same.
I was like, I'm going to have to be on camera again.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh my
No,
gosh.
I took a panic soak.
I
Well, I
showered
didn't-
my body, but that was the first time I washed my hair.
Well, I panic soaked, so I didn't even use soap. I just
Right.
sat in the water.
No, sometimes you have to.
Yeah. Well, honestly,
Hot
my
stew.
hemorrhoid is acting up.
I feel that.
So
I feel that so hard.
You felt my hemorrhoid?
I felt my hemorrhoid.
Ciara diagnosed me with hemorrhoids.
Did I?
She took a look at it and was like,
Oh, I was like,
She
let me
felt
get in
it.
there.
felt it and was like, yeah, that's what that is. Yeah. I had to soak it, warm it up.
Yeah,
you know,
it hurts.
give it a little tender love and care.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you feeling? Is your
Well,
hand heavy?
It is. I keep
Yeah.
snagging it on stuff because I'm not
Yes.
used to. So I don't sleep with it anymore because I've scratched my face like 6 times because I sleep with my hands underneath my face and I've like literally.
You don't sleep with it on?
Nope.
Hmm.
I take it off when I sleep.
Does that feel weird?
Yes.
Yeah.
And once I forgot to put it back on, and then
Because
you've
you've always had a ring there.
Well, I've had a ring on this finger.
Oh, I thought you
Always.
had one on your left hand.
No.
You're keeping that open?
I was until now.
It's
And I
so
told you guys because my left-right thing, it's
Yeah.
very difficult because I used to say ring right. And now I'm
I
like,
told you can't
ring
do it.
left.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
So I'm getting the tattoos.
Moral of the
It's
story.
official.
Ciara's ring is beautiful.
It's very pretty.
It's a pear shape.
I think it's an aquamarine stone.
Yeah, it's like a very pale blue. It's beautiful.
I told Corey the ocean is my calm place.
Yeah.
It always has been. I have an ocean themed tattoo on my arm, on my left arm for my heart. Well, it's also got my kid's name on it, whatever.
Yeah, it's also your heart.
Because also, yeah. But like, so the fact that it's blue is like, I told him today in the
Yeah.
light, I was like, it looks like the ocean.
It does, and like it's got just for all of you who are listening, and I guess those of you who are watching, it's not like your hand is in the camera, but it's got like a halo of diamonds, and then the band is like a skinny band with diamonds.
That
too.
is the other thing too. I've been scratching the shit out of my fingers right here
Yeah.
on this diamond.
Yeah.
So it's definitely getting some taking some getting used to. Getting some taking used to.
That's not the order of the words.
That's
Who
what I
cares?
told
You're
you.
engaged. Say what you want.
It's so funny because people are like, so what are you going to do about the wedding? Blah, 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 blah. And
Well,
I'm like,
that's what this episode's about, so buckle up.
I'm instantly panicking because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I knew that. I looked through some of the questions. Oh, I forgot today was Friday, and so I only put this up like a couple hours ago, and there's so many questions.
thank God you did because, oh my God.
I know if we'd have waited, there's a lot of them. And I was going through, and I already knew how you felt about the wedding planning process, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Buckle up.
Yeah.
But I said, on the thing like wedding, the proposal, family planning, things like that, in case anyone wanted to ask any questions.
Good, because we have had a couple more people ask about like just
Yeah.
life and other things.
Yeah.
Funny story,
Yeah.
which you know about already.
Oh, we're going to say that now?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, it was I thought we could go in with one of the questions.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. then.
Oh, okay. Do you just want to jump right into the questions?
I don't know. Yeah. Because I was
Okay.
going to talk to you about the circle, but that's going to be a bonus episode.
Yeah.
Guys, if you want our bonus content, we have a link to it probably in the description of this and our past
Yeah.
episodes. So check out the link. We're going to talk about.
It's linked in our Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the circle and some other things. Oh, I have a present for us, but I forgot to bring it.
For us?
Yeah, for an unboxing thing,
oh.
but we'll do it later.
We'll get it.
Yeah.
Because we still have Anyway, we're just going to get into these questions because,
Okay.
like I said, there's so freaking many.
I'm like nervous, like this is my first time.
I know. First question. Did you see it coming?
In a sense, yes, only because we've talked about like I knew that he was looking at rings. That's why in that one video it says, well, the ring is there, I'm sure. Because, which by the way, he bought it in November. So he's had it for a while. But I knew because he had been asking me and kind of dropping hints and questions about buying rings. So like I kind of had an idea.
Well, we picked out a ring a long time ago.
A long time ago.
When I was still teaching, Ciara watched my son.
Yes.
And I remember picking Ollie up one day after school, and me, and Corey sat there and looked at rings.
Yes. So like I've always known.
I was a part of it the whole time.
Well, so I kind of always knew that it was going to happen, but then it was like not happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we've talked about rings, and then it's just nothing. And we like went to Mexico. I was expecting it then. We've done so many things that like would have been great moments.
The time.
Yeah. And
proposal time.
Yeah. So now when he did it this time, it was so perfect because it was literally exactly when I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
At all.
That's the best time to do it.
I know. He really surprised me. And it was so sweet. You guys don't know this, but the placement was really special too because it's right on like a walking path, which was near when we first moved in together. We didn't live in this city. We lived in a different city, and we lived right by a trail that goes through the woods, and we used to walk it every single day together. And we would like that was our moment to like, we got to know each other.
Connect.
We were newly dating, so we talked about literally everything. And so the fact that he picked that spot.
And when you're like out in the middle of the woods and you're able to just like disconnect from everything, hone in on each other. Like you're not at a movie, you're not at a restaurant. Like it is just the two of you in the woods.
Yes, literally.
You could be murdered or you could fall in love.
And it really could have gone either way.
For real.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it still could.
Yeah.
We're still hoping love.
Oh, I was like, we're still hoping. There's still time for murder.
There's always time for murder.
I know. If that's how I have to go, that's how I have to go.
This one was asked a lot. Is Jerry going to be your wedding photographer?
Oh, well, that's tough. Because probably not.
No?
Well,
Who are you going to get? I will fight them.
Okay, then you can. I want you in my wedding.
Well, that was another question.
That's what you're probably going to be like my maid of honor. Sorry, Taylor. No, I already talked to Taylor about it. She's okay with it because she doesn't want to make a speech.
Oh, I didn't think I was ever going to get to make a speech.
Well, you get to.
You're the last one.
Well, you're very good at speaking about me.
Oh my God, I'm going to freak out. I'm so excited.
So do you still want to take pictures or like how are we going to do that?
Yeah.
You can do both?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
What do I look like? New?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Then you can do both.
I'll just have to like hire an associate or get Shane to take photos during.
When you're like in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So excited. Wow, double duty. Talk
Sorry,
about
I just
it.
like asked you here, but you know.
No, that's fine. I'll expect a formal.
A box with a little mini champagne in it. You're welcome.
Oh, well, you got that for me.
Yeah, and then I was not in the wedding party. It's a long story.
If you listen to our first Q&A, you heard that Ciara and I didn't speak for like a year. And I asked her to be at my wedding, and then...
And I said yes.
Yeah.
And then we stopped talking to each other over something pretty big.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we got over it before your wedding.
Yes, because Noah was in the wedding.
And so I was like, hey, I can still be your bridesmaid. And you were like, hey, we filled the position.
Yeah, I filled the position for you and your sister. I felt bad because I was like, well, Ciara's not speaking to me, and I don't want to make Taylor choose sides, so I'll kick them both out.
Yeah. And let me be honest, I couldn't have been happier because I just don't care to be in wedding parties. It's a lot of pressure. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
You still had to walk down the aisle because your kid was dragging my kid in a wagon, and we were.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh no, Mitchell went down with him
because I went a little bit, but I was wearing a very short dress, and my hoodie was just out.
You're like, I cannot go down this.
I was single and I wanted to find people, but then I got hit on, and I was like, ew, no. So really, the dress worked against me.
Our officiant was really into you.
Yeah, he was like, "Do you want to go for a walk?" And I'm like, "I'm dancing." So no, Whitney Houston is on. Absolutely not.
What do I look like? I know my hoodie's out, but like,
it's not an invitation.
This hoodie's for Whitney only.
This hoodie wants to dance with somebody.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Will there be an episode with Cory about the proposal?
Well, he's not allowed on anymore. So probably not.
No. He gets to come on once a year.
Yeah. That's a maybe.
Yeah, if he's lucky. Someone asked again if you saw it coming. What I don't know how you didn't see it coming, I'll be honest, because like every time I knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm. Well, I kind of expected Cory to be more nervous when the time. I always thought I will be able to pick up because he will be nervous. But the thing was, we were going to take pictures, and that he's always nervous about that anyways. Yeah. So I just associated those, like how he was real jittery and kind of anxious, with the fact that we were getting our pictures taken. Yeah. And I was too. Now looking back, I remember I said to you, I was like, I'm so nervous right now. And you were like, why? And I was like, because I'm getting my picture taken. Yeah. And I'm not drinking alcohol this time.
Well, I knew that you were probably feeling anxious because of the photos, but I was just like wanting you not to be in a nervous headspace for the moment.
Well, that was the perfect, getting my picture taken was the perfect way to do it, because I was so anxious. All I was thinking about was like that day. My mom was like, "How did you know to have your nails done?" And I was like, "Because I was trying to like look good."
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: we needed to get family photos of both of us for something to do with the podcast, and so we had a request for family photos and then photos of us with just our kids.
Yeah.
And so we set up this photo shoot, and Cory texted me after Ciara told him about the photo shoot. And he was like, "Hey, how about we make this an engagement shoot?"
He texted me.
Yes, you didn't know that?
No, that's so cute.
Yeah, he texted me that night.
Oh.
When you're like, "Hey, can we set up the time to go do those photos?" And I said, "Yeah." And you went home and told Cory that we had to take the pictures, and that he texted me immediately and was like, "Hey, can we make these engagement photos?" And I was like, "Are you serious?" Because if you're drunk texting me right now about a proposal, I will kill you.
And he was drunk that night.
I don't care. He followed through.
He did.
The follow through was there.
I was so surprised that he did.
Yeah. And then I wanted to do it like the next day. Because
really?
That was on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm available Sunday if you guys would like to do these photos on Sunday. I was so excited. I wanted it to happen.
Go.
Well, because I didn't think I could keep the secret from you for that long.
I know. I can't believe all of you did.
There were times when we would talk about the photos, or like when I was helping you try on dresses, because I was like,
Oh, you were trying to picture that?
Yes.
That's really
That was all intentional. I knew. I was like, I'm going to style you for this. We are going, this is a moment. Yes. I know this is a freaking moment.
And it really was.
I know.
Beautiful.
Somebody
asked where I got the dress from. It's Jerry's, much like almost everything that I wear. So ask her.
I have a lot of stuff.
Everything that anyone's ever complimented me on this podcast is something that I'm one of yours.
I just have a lot of stuff.
Because this is my style. I just wear a t-shirt and jeans. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a lot of stuff that I have used for photo shoots, or like I have for my client closet and stuff. So like I have a lot to pull from. Mm-hmm. And I like to change my style a lot. So I just have a lot of stuff, and then I get tired of it and I give it to Ciara.
It's my favorite. You want this? My style is hand-me-downs. Honestly.
Listen, this is from Goodwill.
I love it.
It's the comfiest
Nothing
thing
wrong
that I
with
own.
it. Yeah.
Care. I told someone that my favorite shirt was someone else's trash. and that's how I hope people see themselves. Is that like, if you feel like trash, just know you're someone's favorite shirt.
I'm someone's favorite trash.
You're my favorite trash.
I love it.
So, they wanted to know the whole story, but there's parts of the story you don't know. I can't tell you how many times I would talk to you on Marco Polo about setting up a date and trying to figure out where we were going to do this, that I would have to talk to you and then get off of Marco Polo and freak out. I would like squeal to myself.
Because I had no idea.
Yes, and I cried on the way there because just like us, to plan, we're like, let's do the pictures around 4. It downpours at 4.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, let's do it at 5. It's supposed to clear up.
kept raining.
So we're like 6.
Also, I was very sick all
Yeah.
day. I was like almost passing out all day long. So that was great.
Yeah.
It was very hard for me to get ready. I was laying on the floor like,
yeah. So we went and got Pulp, which is a smoothie place.
Mm-hmm.
And then while we were driving out to the location, I looked at Shane and I was like, there was a time in my life, I'm going to cry, when I didn't think Ciara was ever going to speak to me again. And I have her engagement ring in my bag right now. I am on my way to photograph her proposal to a man who loves her so much, takes care of her, keeps her safe, loves her son. She is going to have the family, the life that she deserves. Mm-hmm. And I was just so overwhelmed and grateful.
That makes me want to cry. But I can't.
You can cry.
This isn't waterproof.
Show me your tears. I did so much work. Please repay me with tears. No, I'm kidding.
I know everybody asked me. They were like, "Did you cry?" And I was like, "I had not waterproof mascara on, and we still had to take pictures." Like that happened at the beginning. That I was trying so hard not to. There were moments where it was real close.
Yeah,
but I was holding it back. And
you're
I get
also not a cryy person.
I'm not a cryy. I will shake.
I'm not a cryy.
What the fuck? I'm a shaker.
Yes.
Like when I get overwhelmed, like it manifests physically. So I'll like shake or I get like this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I made another growling sound. I heard in that video.
You did?
When he proposed. It's in the video. It's in the TikTok. And I said, "Oh my God!"
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
I made a caveman noise.
It was real guttural. Mm-hmm. Yes,
that's how I react.
Yeah,
I become a cave person.
There's nothing wrong with it. It was instinctual.
It was. Well, also I looked at the ring and I was like, "Oh my God!" Prettier than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
I was just shocked.
Hey guys, if you're like this far in and you're like, hey, I don't care. Maybe turn this off.
Yeah.
Because this is all this is. If you like to hear us talk about like drunk history things or I don't know, educational stuff, that's not what this is. This is a celebration.
This is about us, bitch.
This is a celebration of Cici, okay?
I'm never allowed to have things that are mine.
Yeah, and this is your time.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride, except I've never been a bridesmaid. So never a bridesmaid, never a bride. This is my time.
Yeah.
Many a drunken wedding guest.
Always a drunken wedding guest, never anything else.
Literally never in the party.
Yeah. Am the party.
Yeah.
Not
in the party. No.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah. Jerry, did you enjoy getting to take the photos? What was that like for you?
I know everybody kept saying, "This is so special that you got to be there." And I was like, I'm really glad. If I could have picked anyone to witness it, I'm glad you were there, and I'm glad Noah was there.
Yeah. Noah was... Everyone asked if I was the one who yelled yeet in the photo.
Somebody was like, "Oh, Noah yelled yay." And I was like, he was actually yeeting sticks into the water.
He was kind of oblivious that it was happening.
Yeah.
It was really special. It was, and like that's kind of why I went into the backstory of like how emotional it made me. It was so incredibly special.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't really understand until people were like overjoyed, and I was getting so many messages that were like, "I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud." And then it took me a minute because I was just like, this has been a really tough fucking road for me to get here.
Mm-hmm.
Like a rough. There was a time in my life where I was genuinely. I remember when me and Forey first got together. I was gonna say Corey and first got together.
Oh,
when me and Corey first got together, I remember one of our very first conversations was I said, "I hope you're okay with not getting married because I don't ever want to get married.
Right.
I don't believe in marriage. I don't think that there's ever going to be somebody out there for me that I'm going to want to, like, on paper, spend the rest of my life with." And that's no offense to you. And he was like, "Cool, I don't want to get married either." He had shitty relationships.
Yeah.
I had watched my parents get married and divorced and not have good marriages and all of these things. And I was just like, I don't really believe in it.
Yeah.
And then just the way that it changed, he made me believe in it.
Aww.
I know. And now I'm like, okay, I want to get married, but just once.
Yeah.
Just the one.
I'll tell you, Ciara has had a lot of boyfriends.
I've had a lot of boyfriends.
They're honestly,
What's up? Some of them watch.
They do?
Probably. I think some of them do.
They're I cannot remember a time when you were single, honestly.
Yeah, I'm a serial dater.
Yeah, you like to plan the next one before you're done with the present one.
I really do.
Yeah, I was like that too.
Yeah.
But there was something different.
I used to be very toxic.
Well, there was something different about Cory.
Well, because all of the men that I were with were never like, okay, you're going to be endgame. So I was always kind of looking for the next. To me, while I was with the one.
Whenever
that's toxic. I know that I'm the problem, but.
Well, I mean,
I just didn't love them. That's the thing. I wasn't in love with any of them.
Yeah, but I don't want you to think that you were the toxic one. I'm not saying that you didn't have toxic.
Well, we had toxic relationships.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I was like, this is not what I want for the rest of my life. So I'm gonna. I always thought there's got to be better out there.
Right, and that's why. This is a total tangent, shocker. But someone requested for us to do an episode about toxic, abusive relationships, and we share our experience, but it's our experience, and it's very hard to speak on it because the person who I was in a toxic relationship with may be a totally wonderful person to the woman he's with now.
Yeah.
My memory is very different of him, but I have hope that whoever he's with now isn't getting that version of him.
Same.
I can say with certainty the version of me that he had is very different than the version that Shane does.
Agreed.
So like it's very tough to talk about toxic abusive situations because we can label people one thing. Just because I had an abuser doesn't mean that that's all he is.
That's why I've always said I will never say his name because I don't want people to go around and think that's all that he is. Because I hope that he has changed.
Right.
I hope the best for him.
Not in my life.
No. I don't owe him anything here.
Right.
But I hope that he finds the best version of himself because he owes that to the people he comes in contact with, and he owes it to himself.
And I'll tell you, like I saw these people that you were with. Some of them I liked a lot.
Well, that's when I say things like that. Like me and Noah's dad were together.
Yeah,
that was probably the closest thing that I found that I was like, oh, I am in love because we were having a kid together. But looking back now, we're still very good friends, and like I'm very good friends with a lot of my exes, and it's because. We weren't right for each other romantically, but they were never all bad people.
I think Mr. Right now.
Yeah,
they weren't Mr. Right.
And I wasn't Mrs. Right. I was Mrs. Has some self-esteem issues. And she's validating her worth by talking to other men.
Right.
So when I met Cory, I just was mostly focusing on fixing myself. So I think that I didn't need to do that, but also I didn't want to because I just found everything that I wanted in him.
What was so crazy is you never had to convince me of your relationship with him. So many times you would try to sell me on these guys you were with.
I really had to.
And I was like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like I already feel that this person isn't going to be around forever. I'm not getting attached. I know
That's
that
how a lot of people felt about my relationship,
including me. Wrong. Because at the same time, like you learn something from every single relationship you're in. You would not be who you are without those relationships.
That's exactly right. I would do it all over the same way again.
Yeah.
And they learned something from me.
Yeah. We take a little bit from every person we encounter, every relationship that we encounter, and that makes us who we are. But there was just something different about Cory that I was like, I saw him as family from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like there was no question whether you guys moved. I knew you weren't going to end badly.
Yeah.
I knew that you were not going to repeat the toxic things you had done in the past as far as like having a back burner guy for when this one was you're kicking him out the door. That was like not a thing.
And I just want to say that I also had back burner guys because I was convinced that I was never good enough, and I was always convinced the person I was with was going to leave me.
I did that.
Always felt like I had to have a backup plan because I'm like, I can't be alone. Self-esteem issues again.
Well, you heard we can't go hunting because we can't be alone. We also cannot be alone just in general.
So I'm like, I can't. This guy is going to realize one day that he is better than me. This is what I thought. And It's not true. I have to tell myself that now. But this is what I thought. He's going to realize one day that he's better than me. A prettier, younger, smarter option is going to come by.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, wow, what the fuck am I doing with this? She lays in bed all day.
Yeah.
Sad bitch. I'm going to go over here with her. And I felt like I have to have somebody because I am already on Sad Bitch Island and that is going to devastate me.
Right.
I use those relationships as like my source of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought if that gets taken away from me, I am fucked.
Yeah.
I'm going to be devastated.
Well, you didn't want to feel like you got left behind because you weren't good enough.
Right.
Because as long as you had someone telling you were, you could be like, this guy's just an idiot because this one knows.
Yes. Oh, you don't think I'm pretty anymore? Well, I got two over here that are telling me I am.
So there's that, bucko.
But with Corey, I had fixed myself so much that I didn't need that validation.
Right.
Even from him, he was like, you're gorgeous. And I was like, I know. Like, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
I didn't have to be
I
like,
know.
keep telling me. But I was just like, I know.
Yeah.
Because I am.
Do you really think that?
Yeah. Fucking,
You do?
I'm really loving myself recently.
No, I'm so proud of you. Like,
Thank
I'm
you.
not saying like you shouldn't say that. I've just never heard you say that and mean it. Like, I've never. Part of me
It's because
thought.
I'm engaged.
Part of me
Because the
thought.
man is validating me. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought I was gonna say, "Do you really feel that?" And you were gonna say self-deprecating. No, I don't.
No,
mean
I
it."
don't know.
Like, I really thought you were gonna do that. When you doubled down, I was like, "Shit,
No, I don't know.
Who is she?
I'm feeling myself.
you
recently.
should." Damn.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Intrinsic love looks good on you, girl.
Thanks.
Have you thought about when you'll get married?
Probably in a year or two, I would say. Corey was like, let's do it next summer. And I was like, we really got to work around Jerry's schedule. She's very busy.
I will make time for you. Don't worry.
Okay.
If you guys have a date, you let me know, and I will put you. I have a couple inquiries in the thing, so let me know before I respond to them.
Okay.
If you inquired to me and I didn't respond back, your date might be in jeopardy.
Well, there are other reasons that we might wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Excuse me.
Eloping
just,
or
like, belched into the mic.
eloping or an actual wedding?
Well, we had always wanted to elope, and now I'm like kind of. It was funny because again, we were like, "Hey, even if we get engaged, we can be like engaged for like 10 years. I don't care. I don't really care about a wedding.
Yeah.
I know that I love you. I know I'm going to be with you forever. Again, a piece of paper doesn't make us family. We've been family since we've been together. But we got in the car after he proposed, and he's like, I kind of want to start planning a wedding now that we're engaged. And I was like, I know. So his aunt has a barn out in a really beautiful like spot in the country. And so we might just get married out there since it's cheap and we're all about saving money.
Yeah, might as well.
So we might do that and just have like, it's going to be small, but
yeah.
you know.
You know what's something funny that I haven't told you yet?
What?
I think Shane and I are renewing our vows this year.
Do it at the same time, please.
You want to?
Yeah. Double wedding.
It's going to be on June 19th.
Oh.
18th is a Friday, which is my birthday and our 5-year wedding anniversary. And I always wanted when we had Forrest, like completed our family, to do like a vow renewal of our kids.
Oh.
Like we said vows to each other, but now we want to like vow for our family kind of. But you and Corey are invited.
Yay.
But I just haven't told you yet because I keep trying to force myself to actually follow through with it.
Yeah.
But I just had that when I thought of that, I'm like, damn, I'm gonna be married twice before you get married once.
That's really funny. Unless I'm just up there too, and I'm like, sneak.
What if I surprise you with a wedding?
That'd be cool. That would be the best thing that anyone could do for me because I fucking don't want to
Honestly.
plan one.
I can help you plan it.
I
truly.
know. I have a planner. Somebody sent me a planner already.
Aw.
I know.
Like a physical person?
Like a physical person.
In the mail, someone showed up and they're like, hi, I'm Bethany. I'm planning your wedding.
No, not like a wedding planning book.
Oh.
I just got what you meant. I thought you meant like, did a person send it
You
to you?
can call me Beth.
I was like, it's not a bot sending
She's
me.
just standing over your bed.
Hi, what can I do for you? What kind of flowers do you like?
Yeah.
Lilies.
That's what I thought. How many kids do you want someday?
2.
Sorry, you had a real hard swallow there.
I know. Well, you asked me really quickly, and I was like, I gotta get this down.
Okay, so you want 2 total?
Probably.
you and Cory went to, or like including Noah?
No, including Noah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, like how soon
good.
after you get married do you think?
Well, probably about 6 months before.
So like, maybe what? And October this year?
Maybe probably end of October this year.
Ciara's pregnant!
Surprise! I'm all about doing things out of order. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys, it's so nice to have my belly out. Let me tell you, I have been feeling like Zooey Deschanel and New Girl when they just had to put props in front of her for the longest time.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's nice to get this gut out. So surprised. By the way, there was a lovely girl in our Ladies in Fangents Facebook page.
Yeah.
Her name is Brooke. And she said in her thing, hey, since neither one of you are pregnant and Ciara just got engaged, you should celebrate by doing a drunk history. And my girl, I got news for you.
She pregnant as
I'm
hell.
pregnant as hell.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was actually why we did need to take pictures
oh, yeah.
for
So
the podcast.
that's what I've been wanting to say, but I
Yeah.
haven't been able to. So the reason why, because people have asked me, they're like, why didn't you know what was on the sign?
Yeah.
Because the sign I thought was going to say Baby Parsons due October 27th.
Yeah.
And instead it said, will you marry me? So
Yeah.
when we turned it around, I was like,
Yeah.
not expecting.
What happened was I was like, Ciara, we were still low on time.
Yeah.
Low on time? We were crunched for time because the rain was going to come back.
Yeah.
So I was like, Ciara, let me go and take pictures of you and Noah. That way we can send those off to the people who are asking for these photos. And Cory, while I'm doing this, I already set the letters out. Will you just put the message on the letterboard?
And I was like, great, 'cause she's got to take my pictures, like some couple.
Yeah.
That's also why I was going to say this when I went
Yeah.
to get because my mom was like, why did you do your nails? And I was like, because I thought you'd do like pictures of my hands on my belly.
Yep.
And so I wanted it done for that.
Yeah.
So those were the pictures we were taking. When he came back with the sign, I was just like, oh, we're going to take some like.
She didn't even look at the sign.
I was just convinced that we were doing a picture. She
Yeah.
said, stand next to it and let's get like a little just shot of you.
Uh-huh.
And then he turned it towards me and I was
Did
like,
you hear what I said?
No, what'd you say?
I said, Ciara, is that what you wanted the sign to say?
Oh.
And you looked at, well, first you looked down at yourself and you're like, what? Because you always think that there's something wrong with
Yes.
you. So you started like brushing off your dress.
Very self-conscious.
And I was like, no, is that what you wanted the sign to say? And you looked at it and when I watched the video back, your face looks like annoyed.
Because I thought he was fucking with me.
Yes.
I thought it was a prank at first.
Yeah.
And so it was only until I looked back at Jerry, which was that really beautiful picture of me looking like a gopher. My surprise gopher face. My surprise prairie dog. You just got me out. The Lion King. But it was because I looked at you and that's when I realized it was real.
Yeah.
Because you were smiling.
I wouldn't lie to you.
No.
This
And when
face won't lie to you.
when I looked back, he was pulling something out of his pocket.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, him and Shane are pulling a prank on us.
Why
This
would
is fucked
Shane
up.
do that to you?
I don't
could
know.
see Cory
yeah.
doing it. But
well,
why
I thought Cory was doing it. Shane was like, okay, because,
Because he's a follower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need you. Look at these babies.
She's got maternity pants
These
on.
are,
So
I'm busting out of these.
they've got the belly band
Yeah.
coming up to her.
And
I almost said turd jingles.
my jingles.
I kept calling it vajangle last time. Like, what is wrong?
You said the best thing I've ever heard because I said, these are like postpartum pants. They're not even technically maternity pants because
Yeah.
right now maternity pants are way too big for me.
Yeah.
There's like no good in between.
Right.
So these are just kind of like an in between. I just look like I'm really bloated or
Yeah.
like I had a big meal. And I said, these are going to be my Thanksgiving pants from here on out. And she goes, maternity pants turned into my turkey pants.
That's what it should be.
It's really great.
So if you're looking for something to,
Yeah, these
dress
were
up
only
for-
$75 because everything's so goddamn expensive.
Yeah. So you talked about how you like to do things out of order.
I do.
You know who else likes to do things out of order?
Who?
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Rodham
She
Clinton.
doesn't like to do things out of order. She just likes to, smash the patriarchy and gender
Which
norms.
I love. Amen, sister.
We're talking about Sophia Bush's podcast again.
Work in progress.
Work in progress with Sophia Bush. I think it's just so cool that she brings on so many leaders, and so
variety of guests,
and they all have like faced some kind of adversity. I was listening to one episode.
Oh, I love her.
It was, I forget her name, but it was an older woman, and she had like lived through the Holocaust.
That's amazing.
I know.
Well, and I'm going to go home and listen to that one.
Yeah, and Glennon Doyle was also on there, and Glennon Doyle is an author, and she talked about breaking societal norms, and she also talked about like toxic positivity and just like placing women in boxes and limiting their potential, and that I think Hillary Clinton falls into that as well. Is
Big
just
time.
She talked about a story where she was at school and wanted to run for class president, and they were like, girls don't run for class president. And the guy won, and
of course
he wanted her to do all the work then.
Of course.
I know.
That's how that goes. I also really loved, she talked about a story where she said she had one girl. She said her parents never really like put those on her. And there were girls in her school that were like, I can't do my homework better than my boyfriends because I can't get better grades than them because it's intimidating. And she was like, what? Why?
Yes.
Like, that blows my mind that was the mentality back then, was like, I can't show a man that I'm smarter than him because then he'll feel intimidated by me. And she was like, I want them to.
And you know what I think is cool too is like, because she talks to people, and yes, these people have platforms. Yes, these people are quote unquote famous. I think she has a way of humanizing them. Yes. And so regardless of what your belief about Hillary Clinton, the politician, is, listening to Hillary Clinton, the woman, speak is just so special. So we hope that you guys check out Work in Progress with Sophia Bush. You can subscribe to the series on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening to podcasts, or you can listen ad-free by starting your free trial of Wondery Plus in the Wondery app. All right.
Yay.
Okay, back to
baby and engagement. Yeah, so truly, I mean, I don't mind doing things out of order. I think society, we've talked about it so many times, tells you so many things, and it's like, shut up. No, but like, it tells you like, hey, you're supposed to go to school, graduate high school, find the love of your life in high school, obviously, go to college, and find the path that you're going to get. Right out of college, get engaged, of course. Then find your career, plan a wedding.
Stay in that career until you're dead.
Yes. Get married then. Have a huge wedding with that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Right.
And then immediately start popping out kids while you're working on your career. Yes. Right. Well, one right after the other.
Yeah.
And then you're done. And then
because if you don't give them a sibling, like how rude.
Yeah. Right? Like, they can't survive life without.
And if you aren't a mother, then
you have no worth.
Right.
That's
if you're
not us
wife,
saying that. Yeah, then you need a man to validate you, like I've said.
This would probably be a good time to mention too. If you are, we're gonna talk about Ciara's trying to conceive journey, and so if you
that's the thing too. I want people to know that, but even before we were engaged, I always knew Cory was who I wanted to have children with, and so when we decided, we've been trying since last June.
I did want to bring that up too, because what's unfortunate is when someone gets engaged and then announces their pregnancy soon after, it's always really gross speculation about the reason and the motive behind the engagement.
So I want to be like, he had the ring in November. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
When I had my first pregnancy.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, we knew that we were going to get married. We knew that we were going to get engaged. We knew that we wanted to have kids. I was the one that said I wanted to start trying soon because I'm like, hi, I'm going to be 30.
Yeah, that whole biological clock thing.
Really, truly. And my son is almost 10. So I'm like, really not trying to start all over again.
Right.
Like that. Let's get the ball rolling if we're going to do it.
And you are someone who is back in school wanting to pursue a career in a different path.
I don't want to get out of school and then immediately start my new career and then start popping out kids. That's not what I want. So there's no rule that says I have to wait till we're fully betrothed before we start planning.
There's no reason that says that you have to give up your desire for a career to have a family.
Yeah. And he is not marrying me because we're having a baby.
Right.
We've talked about marriage. We've talked about babies. We knew that was all going to happen. This was just good timing. Yeah. And it was something that...
And the whole reason I brought this up is, one, to say that. But two, if you are someone who is... if it hurts you to listen to other people,
I understand. I've been there.
Yeah.
I was that person who was getting devastated every time I would get my period because it would mean that I wasn't getting a positive pregnancy test. And then on Facebook and Instagram, it was babies, 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 babies. She's on her sixth kid. I understand. It is hard.
So please turn this off.
Don't feel like you have to listen to this. I understand it's nothing negative against me and nothing negative against you.
We will always want you to prioritize
yourself, your mental health.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I used this analogy. I don't remember if I did it in the miscarriage episode or not, but when I had my losses and people asked me if it was difficult to watch other people get pregnant, that was something I had to sit with and ask myself, like, am I triggered by other people's fertility journeys going forward?
Right.
And if so, why? And I realized that, like, I kind of compared it to going on vacation. Like, I had wanted to go on vacation. I made plans to go on vacation. We booked the tickets. We were at the airport, and then all of a sudden our flight got canceled.
Yeah.
Indefinitely. We didn't know if our flight was ever going to get put back on. I didn't know if I was ever going to get to go on that vacation. Meanwhile, other people's planes were taking off.
And they were posting pictures of their vacations.
Yes. And other people's planes were landing.
Yes.
They were coming back from their vacations. They were talking about how much of a wonderful time they had. And I realized that if that was my situation, I wouldn't be angry at those people for going on vacation. But if it did bother me, then I'm not going to look at their photos.
Yeah, that's it. You have to separate yourself because it's not fair of any of us. I felt the same way. I was the person who I saw somebody who was close to me literally announced she was pregnant maybe 3 weeks after I miscarried. And it was like I knew I was going to have to see her again soon. And I got pissed. And she's a wonderful girl. She deserves to have a baby. But I was just like, why her and not me?
Right.
And that is, I'm allowed to have those feelings. I'm not allowed to put them on her.
Right.
It is not her fault. I cannot expect the world to stop getting pregnant, the world to stop having babies because I couldn't.
Right.
Or because I had lost one.
Right.
So.
Now, saying that, you are also not... We don't want you to listen to this if you're in a place
again. This is
not as a punishment. It's just we want you to prioritize yourself and
until you're able to. Because it took me a couple months. I was finally comfortable again right before I found out I was pregnant. Right. Seeing other people, I was like, okay, you know what? Whenever it happens, it happens. And then it happened for me. And now, obviously, it doesn't bother me anymore. Right. But it was one of those things where I had to give myself time to heal from it.
Right. Someone did ask if you named the baby that you had lost.
I did not.
You didn't?
No. But it was very early.
I literally thought you were going to look at me and name it right now.
Jessica. No, it was early, so I just kind of thought of it more of like the movie Soul.
Yeah.
Where it was like, I feel like maybe it was this baby, but in a different, like maybe not so healthy
I said
body.
That.
Yeah.
Whenever we had our first loss, it was a really confusing thing for us to navigate. And I was trying to make sense of it. And we said, oh, we didn't lose a baby.
Yeah.
Just the body
just
that it was,
the
vessel that it was going to use to come here wasn't up to par. So it's just chilling up.
Yeah.
At Pixar, and then whenever we get a better body, it'll come back down.
And so I think that if it would have been a later loss, I definitely would have. Yeah. But with the one like as early as it was, I don't. Yeah. I just felt like it was like not ready yet.
Yeah.
Its body wasn't ready, and that's okay.
Yeah. Do you feel like I had a moment after we lost our first, and I got pregnant with Jonah. I remember standing in the bathroom, getting a positive pregnancy test, holding my belly, and going, "You're back."
Mm-hmm. Like, that's exactly what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. It felt like the same energy.
Yep.
The psychic told me that it wasn't. It was two different kids, but
I'm sure mine is too. But that's why I was just like, oh, there you are. Okay.
Yeah.
We lost you for a bit.
Thought we lost you there.
Noah said the same thing. He said the baby came back whenever I showed him the picture. I know.
Some of these are about Noah.
Ooh.
How did Noah react? Is he excited, indifferent, surprised?
So excited. the most excited. We went to McDonald's afterwards because
my favorite story.
Because we were rushing. I had to get him back to his dad's house because we do every other week with his dad. And so we usually do it switch on Sunday nights, and that was a Sunday night. And I was like, oh my gosh, we didn't get you dinner because we were doing these photos. So anyways, first of all, he was very excited. He was like, oh my gosh, he's very into like anything soft or beautiful. I knew he would love the ring.
Yeah.
He was so stoked about it, thought it was beautiful. But we go through McDonald's and we pull up to where we have to give the lady our card, and the window's down, and Noah goes, my mom is getting married. And she's like, okay.
I love that even when you dropped him off at his dad's, he was like, my mom got married.
Yeah, that's what he said. He was like very confused, not getting married. He was like, my mom got married. And Dave was like, huh? And I was like, I got engaged. He was like, oh, awesome. And then Noah goes, show him your ring.
Right now, put your hand out.
I was like, because you never bought me one.
Funny story. I went to visit Ciara after she had Noah, and there was
Dave was looking at engagement rings.
Yeah, and he had folded down the corners, like he had picked out rings.
And I want to be like, what changed your mind?
He was like, oh, these weren't for you.
No, it's for my next wife. She's a lovely lady.
She is a lovely lady.
No hate, no hate. I'm glad they're together. She's a wonderful stepmom.
Someone also asked if Noah will be a groomsman.
I think so.
Aww.
Yeah, we just talked about that today, me and Corey. And I think probably Ollie or Forrest will be a ring bearer. No, what?
We just got Ollie a lawnmower. He could drive it down the aisle.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe we could do the whole wagon thing. He could pull Forrest. They could Forrest. They can both do it.
He is very aggressive. He does so, but like,
well, maybe in 2 years.
Oh
if we do it in a year,
a little bit of time. Yeah, that should be fine.
A year to
Forrest
2
will
years.
have much better
control of his head.
Yeah,
and body.
He's very top heavy right now. Oh my God, I didn't. Oh, did I tell you this? That he fell down the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay, not all the way down, but like it was one of the most traumatic things that has ever happened to me.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
So Forrest just started crawling. I realized I don't talk about him a whole lot. He is the light of my life. He is like literal medicine in human form. I just love that baby so much. I love that human. He just started crawling.
Well, it's a lot. By the way, that just happens, I think, with every second child because it's like so much with the first and
which is
the
why
second.
they get like middle child syndrome.
Yes, and then the second child happens, and it's like, sorry, there's a lot going on.
I watched him eating a dandelion in the yard today, and I didn't like initially. I didn't feel that pull to go and grab it out of his hand. Instead, I was like, "Are you eating a dandelion?" Aw. Where if it was Ollie, I'd have been like, "Not grass.
Yeah,
don't put earth in your mouth."
Yeah.
But like with Forrest, I'm like, cute. They make tea out of it. It's fine. But we don't have steps in our house except to the basement. And we do this room, you see half of it. The other half behind the camera is a playroom. So
many blocks.
Yes, Ollie was down here and Forrest likes to be by his brother. I had just the most stressful phone call. I was trying to do the dishes. Forrest was by the fireplace, which is nowhere near the steps.
No.
I would never put fire and steps near each other. That's too many hazards in one place. So I had him by the fireplace.
You had him by the fire.
Yeah, it's electric.
He was fine.
Boogie, woogie, woogie. So he crawls all the way, silently I'll add, from the fireplace to the landing. There's 2 steps, and you're down at a landing, and then you can go outside. But there's one just little area where it's not landing. It's more steps.
Yeah.
And he, as soon as I turned around and realized where he was, he looked at me and was like, I'm going to go.
For it.
I'm going to go. And so he took a step forward and he did a somersault and then did another somersault, made it down 3 steps, and I grabbed his arm and caught him.
My God.
And he didn't like hit all 3 steps. He had that much air.
He bounced.
He did. And he would like when I got him, Ollie was screaming. I was holding him and like shaking, and he was laughing. And I'm like, "Excuse me,
this is not a ride."
Not at all. I'm a little concerned. He's
no fear.
Yeah, none at all. He's 100% totally fine. I have heard from multiple doctors that babies bounce.
They do.
But like,
my son fell out of the high chair onto the ground.
Ollie fell off our
the
bed
tile.
whenever we were remodeling upstairs.
He's also fallen off our bed.
Yeah, Ollie fell off your bed?
No.
I was like, you never told me that.
Noah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, when I used to watch it, Ollie, he bounced off the bed so many times.
He was bouncing all over the place. I don't know why I brought that up. Anyway.
It's a very scary situation.
I think it'd be cute if he's in your wedding.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait.
Because even if he does fall, he'll be fine.
He'll bounce.
I Mufasa'd him on the stairs. That's how I described it to Shane. And he's like, you Mufasa'd him? I'm like, no, I didn't. I wasn't Scar.
No, I didn't let go.
Yeah, I didn't long live the king him.
What you did? No. You were like, do you see? Did you learn? Maybe now you will.
I would never. Oh my gosh,
I'm sorry, that's terrible. What's wrong with me?
Well, I had a stress dream that night about something happening to him. And Ollie's tiny little voice in my head is so loud. He was just going, Bubba, Bubba.
Oh, no.
He calls him Bubba, which is so cute, but so ironic since his name is Forrest. And he's like Forrest Gump and Bubba Gump Shrimp.
That's so funny. I never would have put that together.
He's never even seen the movie, but he put two and two together. It's amazing.
That's my best good friend.
Oh. What do you think the worst part of wedding planning will be?
Everything. All of it.
Just planning.
Just having to be places and do things. It really sounds like the worst. Especially
Making
after the last year where it was already tough. I didn't realize, it's different. There's so many things just with babies and also wedding planning that, when you think about it as a little girl, you, plan everything yourself. And then you realize another person has to be involved. Yeah. So, all these names that I wanted.
It's not just one person. It's an entire family.
It's their family, which I'm sure I will probably work more with Corey's mom than I will with Corey. Yeah. Honestly. But, already we've been fighting about the date. Because I was like, I want it more in the fall. And he's like, no, I want it smack dab in the summer. And I'm
someone asked if you had a preference of season.
Fall.
You like fall?
I would like it to be September would be my perfect month. Maybe early October, but then we have to think about then I'm going to have a first birthday party for a baby.
Have it at the
wedding.
Have a cake.
Just do it all at once. Oh my God, that would actually be a dream.
Yeah. I am pro let's take the pressure off of parties.
I don't like first birthday parties.
I had a full-on anxiety attack for Ollie's and forgot a cake.
Yeah, or baby showers. I hate them.
Yeah. Yes.
It's the worst. I'm sorry, but I hate them. I hate all the eyes on me. I hate everything about it. I'm not going to have a wedding shower because I don't like...
Oh, but you having a bachelorette party.
Oh, yeah, I am, girl.
And I am planning it. We are going to do pottery.
Oh, okay.
You're like, fuck, no penises?
Well, I thought you were going to say we're going to do pot, and I was like, fucking sweet.
No. I honestly don't know.
I hope it's legal by then.
I don't know what we'll do.
Well, we should go to some, I would like to bar hop a little.
You want to bar hop?
Well, only because I don't anymore.
Okay.
But, we could do something fun. No, pole dancing or anything like that.
Okay.
So maybe...
No, I want you to do what you want to do. Okay. I don't like bar hopping, so I didn't want to go bar hopping for mine. Right. But it's not my bachelorette party.
We don't need to go anywhere. We could bar hop around here.
No, we're not bar hopping. Well, I mean, we could.
I want to dance.
Okay.
Gay club.
Yes. Well, you definitely can't do it this year.
No.
We got to have some time for stuff to open back up.
I said I also would like to, I don't know, not have a newborn suckling off of me while at my wedding.
Yeah, true.
So...
You could just be like me and give up the breastfeeding journey 2 weeks in.
I honestly might. I did with Noah was 6 weeks in.
No shame in my game. And if any
it's hard as fuck. So
if any of you want to come for me, do it. I am equipped with therapy tools now. I can handle it.
I'll give credit to anybody who can do it. It's hard as fuck.
Yeah. What is a weird offbeat thing that you maybe want to do at the wedding? Have you thought about that?
I think everything I'm going to do is going to be weird because I don't want any of the traditional bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. I was going to say it wouldn't necessarily be offbeat.
You know what's one of the cringiest things that I hate?
Garter.
That, but when they make the bridal party woo, and I fucking hate that.
Where they dance into the reception?
I can't handle it. No offense if you did it. That's cool for you. I am so awkward. I would just be like...
You know what's funny is no one asks you to do it. It's not a requirement.
You just... They just spring it on you?
No, you just decide to do it. Like for my sister's wedding, everyone walked in and did something. It was like an unwritten rule where you just looked at the person you were walking in with and you're like, so are we fucking doing something or what? And I was pregnant.
But it's awkward then because you feel like you have to if the other people do. Because I would be the person to just walk in and be like,
hello, hello, hello. Yeah.
I just hate anything where all eyes are on me.
Well, that's...
Which is going to be the whole way.
Honestly, you really should elope.
I know.
But I remember at Sam's wedding.
I say as we're here, and there's probably so many people watching us.
I know.
Oh, well.
At Sam's wedding, I was partnered up with her husband's brother. Mm-hmm. And I was bone sober because I was like 12 weeks pregnant. And he looks at me and he goes, "You too pregnant for me to toss you around?" And I was like, no. And he explains that he wanted to do this dance and he just like spun me around.
Oh my God.
He tossed me around.
I can't remember that, but I always feel like secondhand embarrassment, even though I know they're having fun. Mm-hmm. I am embarrassed because if it were me, I would be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And that's a me problem. Don't get offended if you did it in your wedding, for the love of God.
I think it's fun, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Shit's not for everyone.
I'm just a weird, uncomfortable person. But at the same time, I will get out on the dance floor and literally twerk in front of my mother. Yeah. Like, I don't care.
I remember at my wedding, I walked out into the middle of the dance floor, pointed at someone, I don't even know who, and then went into a full split.
I remember.
And then my sister-in-law walked up while I was in a full split. She did a full split, gave me a hug, and then there is a photo of one of Shane's uncles attempting to do a split next to me. I don't know what kind of chain reaction I kicked off, but it was amazing.
Yeah, your wedding was really fun. Here's the deal. I think that right now everything is uncomfortable to me because I'm sober. If you got a couple drinks in me, I'd do fucking whatever.
This half of the, you guys can't see my drink, but the majority of it's tequila. I am drunk right now. But because we're talking about semi-serious stuff and there's like not much for me to tangent and riff off of, this is the weirdest drunk I've ever had.
I can't. This is amazing. Is it weirder than I'm so? Not at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It is. My vision is not great. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, mine never is. So
my head feels like a balloon.
Good for you, girl. Freaking living the best life.
Thank you.
Can't wait to drink again. And don't judge me for that. I'm allowed to want to drink.
I was sober for 9 months on the podcast.
I know, and now I have to be the one.
I know.
But then I'm getting... But then, oh my God, we're going to do a drunk history episode. I promise you guys in November.
She's like, I'm not even waiting that long.
I will test my breast milk. I swear to God. I will buy the strips.
Pump and dump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
With formula, who cares?
Oh, I'm doing it.
Where's the honeymoon going to be?
Ooh.
That's exciting.
Probably somewhere. I want to go somewhere like we did in Mexico.
Yeah, all-inclusive?
Yes. Yeah. All-inclusive resort at like somewhere like that. That was the most romantic, but we were also there with his parents. It was still very romantic, but it was also just like...
That's the weirdest trip to go on. I know my dad watches these. I'm sorry. But...
No, I absolutely love his parents, so it was awesome.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's weird to go on a romantic place with parents. Shane and I had our own room, and so we would just like be doing family shit, and then we'd be like, so we going to go back to the room?
Yeah, and then we'd bang on the hot tub on the balcony.
Yeah, it's like... It's very, I mean, it's kind of like being at home, but it's just, it's strange.
Yeah.
It's cool to like be able to live in your honeymoon and be in that like lovey setting.
Yeah.
Like that like freak leak.
Yes. Like I can't wait to do it with just the two of us, but it was very fun going with his parents because I just love them. So that was cool with me.
We've got like 3 more.
Hit me.
How are you doing mentally, emotionally, physically, metaphorically? How you doing?
Well, decent.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, in the beginning, it wasn't good.
Guys, I'll be honest. There are so many times where she would just like cough and then almost throw up.
I'm not kidding you. It was... I had to cough to get the gag out because if I didn't, then I was just going to exorcist fucking vomit everywhere.
It was the most unsettling thing to watch.
I want to say this for people who haven't been pregnant yet or people that are pregnant or want to be pregnant. You can want to be pregnant so bad. I was trying for almost 10 months and had a loss in there. And you can do all of that and become pregnant and still fucking hate it.
Yes.
That doesn't make you a bad mom. I hated early pregnancy.
I hated all of pregnancy. I hated delivery. I hated recovery.
That doesn't make you a bad mom.
And guess what? I hated the newborn stage.
Yep.
And I know that if I was in a place where I was trying to conceive, and I wanted a family desperately, and I heard someone say that they hated the newborn phase, that they hated being pregnant, I would think that you don't deserve to have a kid.
Yep.
Nope.
Not true.
Nope. I'm allowed
because I wanted it so fucking badly. And I used to think when I was in that early stages and I was fucking vomiting, you have zero energy, you're constipated. So when you're shitting, your hemorrhoids are just out of control.
Yep.
Literally couldn't shit without
amount
bleeding.
of warm baths are making that better.
No. You cry at everything. All of your hormones absolutely raging. And then you're scared of a loss on top of that. Everything was terrible.
Your body is not your own.
No. You don't look pregnant and you can't feel it. So none of that is real yet. You don't hear a heartbeat. So you're experiencing literally all of the negative shit and you don't get any of the positive shit.
Right. And then when you do start to look pregnant, then you have physical, I would take steps and collapse because my hips hurt so bad.
Oh, in the beginning of this podcast, please go back and listen. I am so fucking out of breath from sitting.
Yes.
I am out of breath all the time. That when we were talking about how sick I was, I have just been getting these really dizzy spells where I'm like, oh, I'm going to fucking pass out just sitting here.
Yep.
Because, you're circulating blood through a whole nother thing's body and you're building a placenta. It's all freaking a lot of work. But anyways, that I just want to say that you cannot enjoy. I feel so guilty. I should be enjoying every moment.
Yeah.
And
no, that's mom
you
guilt.
don't
That's mom
fucking
shame.
have to.
No.
And it's not going to mean you're going to fucking hate your kid.
Yeah.
I'm going to love it. I think it's more beautiful that I'm doing this because I love it so much.
Yeah.
Because I am literally sacrificing all of my happiness.
Yeah.
Now, it's gotten a little better. I'm in the second trimester now, and I feel much, much better.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, they talk about how glorious the newborn stage is.
Well, first of all, you still feel pregnant.
Yes.
I want to say that again because they don't tell you that there's something called the fourth trimester, which is postpartum. You still have pregnancy hormones inside your body. So if you think that you're just going to snap and feel normal again, you're not.
Well, your body, too, reacts like you have just been through a trauma.
Yes.
You start losing hair. Your hormones are all out of whack. You are potentially experiencing postpartum anxiety.
And I had postpartum depression bad.
Yeah, and this goes back to toxic positivity of talking about how beautiful pregnancy is or how beautiful birth is and how beautiful the newborn stage is. And the reality is you are sleep deprived. You are in pain. You are driving the struggle bus.
You're literally relearning how to live your life.
Right.
Because you have to relearn how to do everything because now you have another person.
Right.
To do it with.
And none of your life is the same.
No.
It is completely different. And I don't want to say any of this to scare people away from having children.
It's a beautiful thing.
But no one talks about this part of it.
Because you're just supposed to pretend like everything is great. And that was the biggest shock to me because I was like, holy fuck, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Life gets easier. You learn how to, much like if you lose a limb.
Right.
I'm equating having a child with losing a limb, but you learn how to work without it.
Right.
And in that sense, you learn how to become a person again. You become a mother. You become a person that is now in charge of other people.
You learn how to balance who you are as a human and who you are as a parent, and you learn what matters to you in your life. You learn to love a body that doesn't look and feel like
your
yours.
body.
Yeah. It's a huge moment of growth, but growth does not come easily and it's not beautiful. It's not a wonderful experience. It can be for some people, and that's amazing. A lot of people it's not. And
because my first pregnancy, I barely had any morning sickness.
Yeah.
And it was a breeze until I went into preterm labor and then I was on bed rest for friggin' 3 months. That was very hard. So I'm hoping that doesn't.
Yeah.
Now I have to go to a high risk doctor. Did I tell you that? That she's going to start doing ultrasounds and cervix checks to make sure because she thinks it might have been a cervix shortening problem.
Yeah.
So I'm now working with possibly having like a high risk pregnancy situation. So it just is different. Everybody's pregnancy is different.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's just more about it's a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when we think about spectrums, we see one is positive and one is negative, and then it's like positive, negative, and neutral. When really, with things like this, it should just all be normal.
Yes,
There's
it needs
no
to all be
labeling
normal.
Anything as the right way, the wrong way, the good way, the bad way. It's all just like an experience, and it could go any of these ways, and you are normal regardless of your experience. There are ways to help you regardless of your experience.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, what we mostly want to highlight. Okay. Last one. Two more. Okay. You both moved in with your significant... Oh, my God. Remember when I was like, I'm drunk and you can't even tell? Trying to say significant other there really just tripped me up. You both moved in with your significant others before marriage, and I'd love to hear how marriage changed living together.
I don't think it will for me. We've been pretty much married.
I think that the only thing that changed is there is a level of... People say, like marriage doesn't change anything. Marriage is a piece of paper. I disagree.
Yeah.
Only because for me, marriage is a level of permanence that's like, I can't just leave.
Right. If we have a fight, I can't just be like, well, bye.
Yeah. And like, if you are in a toxic marriage, if there are problems, I don't want anyone to be like, well, this is my life.
Stuck in it.
Yeah. No. That's not what I mean. It's more like, if you have a pretty big disagreement that might have been a deal breaker beforehand.
Yes.
Like, this was not a deal breaker. This is an example. This was not a deal breaker for me. Shane thought it was going to be a deal breaker. He had pretty big debt from going to school.
Yeah.
And he was trying to go back to school because he knew that he was not going to pursue a career in his first degree. And he walked into the living room hysterically, like he wasn't crying, but he was hysterical. And he was saying, like, I cannot finish my degree because I need a cosigner for this loan. And I have no one to turn to. And I was like, I'll co-sign the loan.
Right.
And he's like, I can't ask you to do that. And I'm like, I'm your wife.
Yeah.
Your debt is my debt.
Yeah.
So like, I will co-sign your loan. And he's like, I can't put that on you. And it's like, no, that is the whole point of it.
Right.
And for him, he was so scared that was going to be a deal breaker and it could have been. If I was a different person, I could have been like, excuse me, why didn't you make me aware of your financial status beforehand?
Yeah.
I'd never say status, just for the record. And like, no, I won't sign this for you. And then if I don't sign it, then he doesn't get the degree and then he doesn't get a job. And then what does that look like for our future? So like, it's just, there's a different level of, there's a different, I don't know, there's more at stake.
Yeah.
There's just more at stake to the relationship. You're less likely to just go.
See, I feel like we already kind of have that because we have a house together and we also are now having a child together. So it's like things that before would have been like, okay, I'm going to pack my shit and leave. Not going to happen.
Right.
Which I don't think we've ever had anything that was that big. We've had disagreements where I'm like, I'm going to spend the night at someone's house or something.
Yeah.
But never like... I hate myself so much. Sorry, I just keep bumping the mic if you guys hear it. I am not spatially aware today. It's really an issue. But I've kind of always had that mentality with him since we've moved into our house together because I'm like, this is going to be difficult to get out of. Plus, he kind of handles everything financially for me because I'm in school. So, like, finances was the one thing that I never had. With every other relationship I've had, we've pretty much been married if we were living together, except we had separate finances. Yeah. This is like we have everything together.
Everything's joint.
Yeah. So I don't really think
this person, no matter what, Cory is going to be in your life forever.
Forever.
So like, I think that even without the like a marriage license, having a baby like takes it to that level anyway.
Yeah.
Last one.
Okay.
I think this is a really good one to end on. With what you know now, would you go back and do anything differently?
No. I really don't think I would. I think all of it ended up it brought me right to this place. So everything that happened, I would have done it all over again.
I'm very emotional.
I know. It's a margarita.
It is not the tequila. I thought about this at the beginning. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, and if I did and you already know the story, sorry, I have a really big issue with repeating myself.
Well, there's a lot of people that are just now.
I know. I really
order,
do.
So
It is like a insecurity of mine if I repeat myself, but if I'm repeating myself, I don't care. Because when I lost Jonah and I ended up going to Oregon for a photography retreat, before I left, told you I felt this flush of just overwhelming happiness. And it wasn't even happiness. It was just more like I felt settled.
Yes, like a calming, peaceful.
Yes, and this was when you were still going through.
I was in the thick of some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had started speaking again, but like it was still really bad.
Couldn't get out of where I was at, which is a tough situation to be in, where you understand and you know that you're in an abusive place and you don't have the resources to get out of it.
Right.
That is a fucking scary place to be.
Right. And I remember telling you, like, Ciara, I just feel like everything's going to be okay. I don't know why, but I just felt this overwhelming flush that everything's going to be okay. And when I was in Oregon, I was sweeping the floor. We were getting ready to leave the house we were staying at. I was sweeping the floor and I got a phone call. And at this place in the middle of the woods.
I think no reception.
In the middle of the Willamette National Park.
I thought you were trying to say laminate. I was like,
no,
floors?
it's like the Willamette. I think it's Willamette in Oregon. We were at La Loma. None of these sound like real words at this point.
Now you're just drunk.
We were at La Loma Lodge in the middle of the Willamette Forest. And this sounds like I'm in nowhere on earth.
This is a Dr. Seuss book.
It is. And I was sweeping the floor, and I got a phone call from Ciara, and I had no reception at this place. I hadn't even been able to talk to Shane all week. Mm-hmm. And your call came through, and I answered, and you were like, Jerry, I felt it. Mm-hmm. I felt the flush. And you said that the restaurant you were working at submitted your name.
Yes.
And that you were going to get the resources you needed to get out. Mm-hmm. And a connection that I had made was going to give you a place to live so that you could get out of the city that he was in, that you could financially afford to stay away.
Yep.
And that is when you met Cory. Mm-hmm. And now look.
I know. And I did feel the flush. I knew something was going to come out of that. I was like, this is going to change my life. Shout out. Hey, real quick, shout out to fucking Texas Roadhouse. I know I shit on them a lot, but the one thing they did, there's an outreach program they do, and they paid for me to get out of an abusive situation. Yeah. I submitted a paper writing about being in a very abusive situation and needing money to get out, and they paid for it, and it was amazing that they did that. Yeah. So shout out to them. That was fucking cool. You hooked me up with the lady that was going to give me, like, all of it happened at the same time, and they were also friends with Cory. So it was just incredible. That was
she was my friend was living in a house, and she was like, hey, I need someone to rent the duplex upstairs. And I was like, well, I have someone who needs a home,
like right now,
like for sure, please. And she's like, well, I've had a couple people ask, and I'm like, I don't know what I have to do to get you to give it to my cousin, but please give it to my cousin.
This is not being dramatic when I tell you that it saved my life.
Yeah,
it saved my fucking life.
Yeah.
And now look. Yay! You're engaged and you're gonna have a baby. And I'm having a baby.
Yay! Oh my gosh, we thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for letting us just like celebrate Ciara and talk about where we're at.
This never gets to happen for me. So.
Just share
it's
life
really
moments.
Nice. Yeah, I never got to be excited about anything the first time around because it had to be like such a shameful thing.
Yeah.
So this time is exciting.
Yeah. Oh, I've been waiting so long for this. So that's that on
Me.
engagement and pregnancy and so many amazing life things.
Yes.
Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll see you next week.
All right.
We're out.
Goodbye.